أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
In recent months, the phenomenon of radicalization and extremism among certain elements of society has grown and become cause for concern across the country. Several Canadians born and raised in Canada have gone abroad to wage a bloody jihad with terrorist groups in foreign lands. Thus, radicalization has become one of the most puzzling and worrying issues of the past 2 years.
Welcome back to the arena. I'm Michael Okara. Now, Ahmadiyya Muslims, fascinating, fine people, generally peaceful, moderate, holy. Sadly, they represent a tiny fraction of the Islamic world, perhaps 1%, maybe a little more. But they've organized a series of events to combat extremism and terrorism. And we visited one such of these events today in Toronto. Are you optimistic? Are you hopeful that Islam can find, I suppose, a new place in Canada, peaceful and a very Canadian place in this country?
Definitely it can. And if you want to know that place, that is called Ahmadiyya Muslim Community. That's exactly what we are. Every single branch of Ahmadiyya Muslim Community preaches the love of the country is part of our faith. This is the teaching by Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him. And our motto is love for all, hatred for none. We want to educate our youth. We want to tell them that think rationally. We tell them that today, if you want to win, you want to win with the love. You want to win the hearts. You don't want to take on weapons, because this is not the teachings of Islam. This is all the misinterpretation and cherry picking of the verses, and we don't want to play those games, whether it's Christianity, whether it's Islam. Win the hearts with love.
But let's talk about this. And your words are beautiful. And other Ismaili Muslims, for the Druze, they feel the same. Where they live is the country they're loyal to. But when you say cherry picking, you know that hundreds of millions of Muslims disagree with you. They believe there is a place for violence, for aggressive jihad within Islam.
There are hundreds and millions of people in the world that don't believe in basic scientific principles. Does that mean that because they believe this way we stop educating our youth? Sure. We would never do that. We want to do anything which is in our capacity, be it our 2 cents, be it a drop of water, in the favor of the peace of the society and social well-being of the society. Yes, we are a smaller group within Canada, but we're doing everything in our effort. For example, this national campaign, StopTheCrisis.ca, is primarily launched to educate our youth about the beautiful teachings of the religion. Today, for example, tomorrow, the event in York University, normally we have about 100 or 200 students that take part. This venue was booked for 300, but right now it's being changed because over 1,000 youth have registered for the event. And guess what? Most of that youth is outside the community. So not only we're creating an impact within the community, we're also educating the other parts.
You're doing wonderful work, and I hope and pray it does succeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bye.
I have no concerns about your youth, but I do have concerns about youth in the greater Muslim community. Are you really being listened to?
There are Muslims out there who wouldn't want to listen to us and who have these differences, and there's hesitation to listen to us. But I can tell you honestly, I came across this document recently. It says United Against Terrorism. It's a document to which many Shia and Sunni Muslims have signed on to, and it is mentioning things that we Ahmadi Muslims have been saying for the last 100+ years about war and about loyalty to your country, how that is part of your faith, and these kind of things are mentioned in this document. So even though they're not becoming Ahmadi Muslims, they're at least being influenced by the philosophy that we promote.
Okay. Yes, the illiterate and the poor are always ripe to be exploited. But there are people who've been highly educated. I'm from the UK. I can think of young people who grew up in the same town as me, educated, who went off. People have been studying medicine and law, and they go to fight terror campaigns.
Yes, there have been educated Muslims as well who, unfortunately, they have been influenced by this ideology ideology. But again, there are 1 million plus Muslims in Canada, and the cases that I know of are around 90 who are being investigated.
Yep.
And so that's just a drop in the ocean.
You know, being a Muslim community that is heavily persecuted, we feel that there's a sense of responsibility that comes with being a Muslim Canadian. Obviously, you see the most recent attacks that happened in Ottawa, and a lot of Canadians are worried, but we're especially worried because for us, we had 2 losses. There's an attack on our religion, Islam, when something like that happens, and there's an attack on our country.
Yeah.
So we really, really feel the need to do something. Hence, we organized this event, which is going to be you know, so far we plan to do around 40 events across Canada.
Along with Christians, I've just written a book about the persecution of Christians under Islam. You're horribly persecuted by both Sunni and Shia Muslims in many parts of the world.
You know, I mean, the strange part about, and you're right, you're absolutely right, it is quite sad. I was born in Pakistan, and I hear some horror stories. I'm grateful that my family decided to migrate to Canada, but it's one thing to be persecuted, it's another for it to be constitutionally permitted. Ahmadiyya Muslim community is constitutionally considered non-Muslim in Pakistan, which is unlike any law of any country anywhere in the world. So when you know, it's quite sad that when Ahmadi Muslims are persecuted in these countries, even the authorities look the other way. And in some states, the authorities encourage it. And what you said earlier, that, you know, Muslim leaders, they go and condemn, and I think it's great. I think they should continue to condemn any evil acts. But we believe that actions speak louder than words.
What response are you getting from other Muslims, both in Canada and outside of the country?
You know what? I think we continue to strive, and we continue to open up the dialogue, and you know what? We realize that no one group or one individual can do enough to bring about peace. And for us to do that, we have to have a unanimity. And there are cases where, you know, there's threats, and we face it every single day, but we don't let that deter us from what we're trying to do.
I mean this. Bless you for your work, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much.